This is a recording to help summarize and clarify exactly what your role and responsibility is to ensure that the notice marketing campaigns that we're sending out on your behalf we're getting the greatest return on investment from that process so that nothing slips through the cracks. And I know there's a lot of information that you went through during the process, so it can get a little bit convoluted maybe, and the wires can get crossed, and we don't want to have anything kind of sitting there uncapitalized on, if you will. This is called the client LinkedIn messaging process. Okay, and this outlines all of the kind of marketing that we could do and or have done. As you know, you've got your first level knowns, your unknowns, your brand fans, your recruiters. We've got new recruiters, new hiring managers, and depending on what level of service, new human resource people. You got to follow this exactly the way it's laid out. So here's what you do. First level unknowns and recruiters, notice sends those out, obviously. When you see a response to those messages, it's your job to respond and craft the most appropriate message based on what they say. There's a bunch of different response scripts to what your unknowns or your recruiters would say to you in response. And those are all found on the LinkedIn Marketing Scripts document. Each of you would have downloaded this from section 4. There's 2 different documents. One is the LinkedIn Marketing Scripts document, and one's the Thoughtful Marketing. If you don't have those, then ask your coach and they'd be happy to drop those in your folder. The other side of the first level is your known and your brand fans. And here's the thing, because we start sending these out, a lot of activity starts happening. And then when we start sending out to the new hiring managers and the new recruiters and the new human resource connections, what we find is that a lot of clients forget that there's a whole other process you should be managing and sending out right now. So this is, again, if you'll recall, you saved a bunch of your knowns and brand fans, right? So let me just show you. Okay, remember when you went into your Sales Navigator in the beginning and you made your lists and separated your groups. So notice pulled and sent out recruiters and to your unknowns. Okay, and then you were going to save a group of knowns and brand fans. Okay, so here we would have sent out a message to all 27 of those recruiters that he already had connected, and we would have sent out the message to all 41 of those unknowns. If you'll recall, there's a whole other first level known. There's 200 people that you as the client, if this was your profile, you're going to send out the script that you choose from the LinkedIn Marketing Scripts document. And your job is to personalize a message to all of those knowns. Right? Now, if you get to the list again and you look at it and you're like, that's fine. Send it to who you want. But if they made the cut, then your job is to go onto your calendar and go, all right, every Monday from 10 to 11, I'm going to put on a reoccurring appointment that says send out as many, knowns as you can every day at 10 o'clock, 10 to 11, until your 200 are gone, right? Until you've completed your big task project, let's say, of sending out to all of those knowns. So you've got to set the time out and you've got to send out those messages. And remember, the point of separating the knowns from the unknowns is it's all about personalization. When you send a message to someone and they know that they're the only one that could have received that message because you mentioned to so-and-so, hey, how did your daughter's surgery go last fall? Or, hey, we need to get together and go to that one restaurant again. Or, hey, I can't believe it's been 10 years since we worked together. Okay, that opening sentence is really the only part of personalization that you have to do. It's not that hard, right? If you've got the script, you just need that intro sentence that personalizes it and then send it. But you could easily knock out 15 or 20 in a 1 hour period. So it really wouldn't take that long to get through all of the knowns. All right, so put that on your calendar, map it out, knock it out. Now, the bigger thing is, and if you don't recall this, but you've got all these brand fans. Okay, so in this case, he had 43 people that he said, yep, these are my brand fans. So what's the next step is in the brand fans, okay, let's assume, see all these people? So Skip Sizemore, Cal Cunningham, Ramon, all these people are one of the 43. But how did they get here was he went to their profile, he looked at who they know, he filtered it, and then he sent an email to his coach and said, okay, my brand fan lists are ready to be pulled. We went in and pulled all of the brand fans that he had ready, and you can see them all here, and there's a bunch on the first page. We sent spreadsheets to him. See all of these brand fan lists, and then you as a client, you end up going through this, cleaning it up a little bit, and you send this email attachment to Milan with the script that's already in LinkedIn marketing scripts. So this document kind of shows you the full process here. But if you come down to the brand fans, okay, and they're all organized starting with your unknowns, your knowns, the recruiters, brand fans, okay? Come down here to the brand fans. This has the scripts already written for you that you would send out to Milan. It's really easy. Once you get that, you'll just copy and paste the script that's best for Milan, and it basically lets him know, hey, can you look at the attached spreadsheet and go through it, highlight in green the ones that you feel like you would be comfortable referring me to. Yellow are ones you'd feel comfortable with me reaching out to, and use your name, and then you just leave blank the ones that there's no connection on, right? So the person doesn't know them. But right here, okay, right here is where all this is. Here's those in yellow are people I could reach out to. I hope you don't. So by the way, you wanna reach out to your brand fans and give them a heads up. So let me just show you another document that's also a part of this process. Your audit list here. Okay, so this is going to accompany this. But here's your brand fans. This is your audit. Like, am I doing everything I'm supposed to be doing in this campaign? All these different campaigns. So what does it mean to say, okay, I'm really on top of my brand fans? Okay, have I gone through the contacts of my brand fans and saved the list? Did I let my coach know to pull them? Did I make sure to reconnect with my brand fan prior to sending them the list? So it's not unexpected, right? So there's the warm-up message that you would send, or phone call, to basically ask the brand fan, hey, I was thinking about doing this. Would you be okay if I sent you it? So it's not just totally cold when they get it. Okay, did you send the spreadsheet to the brand fan with the right scripts to make it really easy for them? Did you set up Did you set up on your calendar the follow-up, right? That if you don't see anything going out from your brand fan, okay, like 3 or 4 days later, you got to send them an email. Hey, were you able to get that sent out? So you got to always follow up with people. It's on you to maintain all of these. Did the brand fan send back the spreadsheet, right? With the green ones. So you'll go, all right, they're going to take the green ones. I'm going to take the yellow ones and so forth. Okay, then did I send the ones I need to now send out to the yellow contacts, right? Remember, they're sending out to the green ones. You're sending out to the yellow ones. So have you taken the list and sent out to the yellow ones? Have you set up the follow-up for all of this? Follow up with your brand fans if you didn't see it go out. Okay, did you book a time to meet with those people? Because the whole point is to try and set up connect-working meetings. Okay, did you review the connect-working material in section 4 before you actually meet with the person that your brand fan is setting you up with? And after you met with them, did you send a thoughtful follow-up message? Okay. First level knowns. Did you create your list? Yes, you already did that. Okay. Did you pick and edit the script that you want to send out? Okay. Have you set up the schedule I just talked about? Did you send out your messages? Did you create follow-up messages to respond to those that actually responded? in the appropriate way. Okay? Those scripts are on this LinkedIn marketing scripts document. Okay, now remember, there's this whole other section of people that you need to be staying on top of, which is people who have sent an invitation to connect, people who viewed your profile, people who responded to your endorsements when we automate that in the thoughtful marketing, people who respond to your happy birthday, anniversary, new job messages, people who sent you a happy birthday, anniversary job message, right? So have you responded to all the invitations or contacts with the appropriate scripts found on either one of these documents based on any of these things? And right here in this LinkedIn messaging at the front here, here's all the scripts, people who have asked to connect with you. Here's the script that you send out. People who viewed your profile. Here's the script. People who looked at your profile, but maybe they work at a company that you've applied for a job recently. When somebody says to you, hey, thanks for wishing me happy birthday, or thanks for whatever, you say, yeah, you're welcome. Go look at their profile and see, are they someone that's on your known, unknown brand fans list? Because they're all first level connections, right? So think about this for a second, okay? Everyone we send out this a happy birthday to, if you're doing the thoughtful marketing, if we're endorsing their profile, all these things are meant to generate a conversation. Okay, you just got done sorting your first levels by known, unknowns, and all that. Let's say one of your knowns, here's a message that we sent to Teresa that, it's obviously coming from Dennis. Okay, here's his message that goes out to all of those first level connections when it's their birthday. You can see here, this person's a recruiter. Okay, here's another person, Brian. Happy birthday. Okay, this is again someone we've added that's a hiring manager. So the point is, you're looking at the messaging between you and this person, whoever they are. Teresa, somebody here, right? Ryan, half of them are going to say, hey, Dennis, thanks for the congrats on the new job. How are you doing, right? Whatever. Then you go, oh, okay, let me go see who Molly is. Because maybe I don't really remember her, or maybe you know right away. It doesn't matter. But you're thinking to yourself, okay, is she on my unknown list? Right? Whatever way it is did we send out a message to this person already? And they didn't respond to that, but they did respond to the happy birthday. If that's the case, then you would come in here and be like, oh, you're welcome. If she says, hey, thanks for the birthday wish, you say, oh, you're welcome. And then if you had already sent the message like, hey, I'd love to connect, or do a connect working meeting, right? Or maybe, hey, would you mind thinking if you know of a job? Okay, whatever. If she didn't respond to that message, but she did respond to the happy birthday message, your job is to say, hey, you're welcome. And then, hey, I don't know if you noticed, but 2 weeks ago I had mentioned, boom, see the message above. Does that make sense? If Molly's on your known list and she's number 150, and so let's say 3 weeks from now is when you probably were going to be sending her your known message. Before you send it, right, she ended up responding to, hey, thanks for endorsing me for project management. You're using these thoughtful reach outs that we're doing to create the right place at the right time to because now it won't be cold, right? Because she's the one that said thanks for the birthday wish or whatever. So now you're going to use that to send the message you would have sent 2 weeks from now. See what I mean? You're going to be like, oh, yeah, you're welcome, Molly. I hope all is well. And you know what? Hey, I've been meaning to ask you, boom, script that goes out to who she is, depending on if she's a known or a brand fan or whatever. You see what I mean? We use the thoughtful gestures, birthday wishes, anniversary messages, new job messages, endorsing the person. We sprinkle that every day to your first level connections, and whoever they are in the matrix hierarchy, brand new recruiter, pre-existing recruiter, brand new hiring manager, unknown, known. Okay, go into your LinkedIn scripts. Okay, but in this LinkedIn marketing process scripts, every kind of script is in here. Every kind of response script that you would want to use. In, like, for example, any message that's like, thank you. You go right here to the client thoughtful marketing, but right down here on this next page, when they say thanks for endorsing me for any of these, but you don't really want to set up anything, then you send them that message. But if they do, and you do want to set up a Connect Working meeting, here's one example of what you could send. Here's another example of something you could send. Here's another example. And so all of these, there's a myriad of these that you could, if you've already asked the person to help you about a particular job at a company, here's a way of responding. If you already asked them if they wanted to connect work once, this is a response you could give to their thank you. All your scripts are on these two documents, but your job is to make sure you are staying on top of all of these messages in here. When they respond back, obviously you don't need to say anything to Molly right now because you just wished her congrats on the new job. But if she does respond to you, you have to follow back with the appropriate message based on everything I just said. All of this work is going into this process to chum the water and bring these fish to the surface. You got to get your net ready to bring these suckers into the boat as soon as they come up. And I know there's like 50 million different things going on, but that's why I'm trying to lay out this audit process of exactly what you're supposed to do. If we send out the message to your unknown and recruiters, okay, have you responded in a timely manner when they've said something back? And then responded to their response, and then put on your calendar a follow-up time if you haven't heard. So say somebody says to you, hey, send me your resume. Okay? And you do. Well, that's not the end, right? You have to go onto your calendar and say, okay, I sent the resume today. Like on the 24th, I'm going to follow, I type in here, follow up with so-and-so, right? And see if, they were able to send the resume to the person that they said send me the resume for. But just because you send the message, just because you respond to them and say, okay, here's my resume, that's not done. If someone says, well, tell me more about what you're looking for, and you respond, you have to go onto your calendar and say, follow up with that person, because if they don't respond to you, and then it becomes out of sight, out of mind. Okay, you can't let anyone off until it's clear. They go, hey, I don't recruit in your area, or an act of no, right? When you know this is dead, it's been taken all the way to fruition, then you don't need to keep putting anything on your calendar as a follow-up, okay? But I mean every single one where you ever send anything to anybody, you need to go on your calendar and follow up and put a day. It might be a month from now, it might be a week from now, depending, whatever's appropriate for what they said. But make sure all of the people that you reach out to, who reached out to you, right, who responded to our chumming of the water, let's say, once you respond back to theirs, that's not done. So use this audit document. And basically, if you can't check off all of this on each one of these, and remember, this is ongoing all the time. All of them, really, because you never know when someone's going to be someone might not have logged into their LinkedIn, but like every month. So some of these messages might have been sent out, 45 days ago or whatever, and it's a month later that they finally get around to it. But your job is to know where your scripts are, to have those loaded into your RoboForm if you want, or at least have the documents up, and just block out the time to go in and just stay on top of all of the messaging that's going on in all these different directions. But there's so many times I've logged in and looked with a client at messages, and one's like, oh, I've got a great job. You should send me your resume, whatever. And we're looking, it's like December, and it's March 30th when we're looking at it, and they're like, uh-oh. And it's like, yeah, there's a lot of messaging, and it's really easy to have it, fall through the cracks, because sometimes it's hard to keep on track of all of it. All of the messaging going on, of the birthday messages and these responses, and so it's easy, but you've got to stay on top of each one of them and have a system that you set up and follow that. I want to show you a way to quickly sort your messages and to know who you need to respond to One is that obviously the name will be in bold. That tells you haven't read the message yet. But the other aspect is, you can see right here, if you're just glancing down, if the last message shows you and then hi Isaac, you're the last one. But when you see the person instead of the you, it's the Harrison, hi David. Anytime if you want to just look straight down, you can glance over the yous and just jump to the other person's first name that's listed right there. So you can see Tracy, no, right there, no, right there. That's how you can quickly sort through. But you could also, up in the search box right here, type in the word, for example, fellow, because, well, it depends on what you put in the original script. But a lot of times if we're sending out a message to a hiring manager, it's like, hey, I'm looking to connect with fellow manufacturing professionals in Houston. So find a word that's unique to that script and type it in, and then you'd have all of the hiring managers come up at one point and not the recruiters. If it's a recruiter, then maybe the phrase background and experience or your area of focus is what you could type in there, and then that would sort pretty accurate results, right? There might be one or two people that come in that's not exactly from that campaign, but hopefully that makes sense in terms of how to know who's who more readily. Back to what we were talking about. Here's your thoughtful marketing. This is what's going on. Here's your scripts. Okay, I pulled basically forward from that thoughtful marketing document example here of what you would do. Here's the new hiring manager campaigns. Okay, so if we send out these invitations, right, and the contact accepts the invitation, remember, hiring manager is who your boss would be. Recruiters are recruiters, and you know who they are because of the script. Okay, so it's pretty easy to know. For example, hi Brian, my name's this. I'm looking to expand my network with fellow sustainability. That's to a hiring manager, not a recruiter. A recruiter message would have said, hi Brian, my name's Dennis, and I understand my background might be a fit for your area of focus. That's how you would know who's who, and beyond just looking at their title here. In this sequence, we know that on April 11th at 9:42 that Brian accepted the invitation to connect. And that was it. They didn't respond or anything. They just accepted because there's no other message underneath this. And then 8 days later, we automatically sent the second message. Okay, and our computer will do that. It'll send the automatic message to someone if nobody breaks the automation chain by responding. Notice here, okay, April 19th, and then a third message. Oh, sorry. Then, I don't know, so this is April 19th, so shortly thereafter, boom, they got hit with the happy birthday. And see, that's a perfect example. They accepted on April 11th. We automatically sent this next message. They didn't respond, but we wished them happy birthday, and boom, have a great weekend. Okay, now guess what? If this is today, then okay, good, let's go. And don't do not just say to Brian, you too. Right? That's not a response. Keep your eye on the prize. The whole point is this dude's a recruiter. Your job is to go look up Brian's profile and see if there's a fit there. But basically, you're going to send him a message that's like, hey, yeah, I hope you have a great weekend too. And, I hope you have a great, birthday. Don't do anything crazy. But hey, Brian, I'm not sure if you noticed, but a couple of weeks back or whatever, right, I asked about this. And I wanted to make sure that, my background's a good fit for what you're focusing on. So the job is not to just, you gain nothing by you too, or have a good one, or that's never a response until you close the deal, right? Your job is to close out Brian one way or the other with a message that gets directly to the point and takes off these niceties and says, let's come to fruition here. Like, use this as a way to close him out since he didn't respond when you sent those other messages. Okay, this is a good example of all of them. Somewhere along the way, they're going to respond to something. Your job is to look at who are they to me based on the history, and then what's the appropriate next response, because it's never you too. Never. And if I send something to him, then guess what? I go on my calendar and I say follow up with Brian, next Tuesday. Does that make sense? When we send out to new hiring managers, okay, the ones I said, not recruiters, here's the flow chart. Here's what you need to know. If the contact accepts your invitation but does not respond, that's what I just showed you, right? They just accepted and that was it. Review their profile and determine if you think they're a yes or a no. Do I want to go after them? And if the answer is yes, then you send a short acknowledgement like, hey Dave, it's good to be connected. Okay, that's it. Why? Because you want to break the automation chain. Remember, they didn't respond. So since they didn't respond, just like this person, see how this person got this next message right here automatically? That was because he didn't accept it and respond. So we have all of these campaigns set up for an automation. Another message is coming to this person if they don't accept and say something to you. When a hiring manager accepts and doesn't respond, just like this, then if they're a yes, you send them a quick note, because that will break the automation. Because what you're doing is you're going to save them to the Sales Navigator into a folder. Because you want to send them a personalized next message instead of letting the automation send it. Okay? Don't forget to set a time on your calendar each week to then go into the Sales Nav folder. So what does that mean? It means, okay, let's pretend like Brian, when he went and looked at Brian, he looks and he's like, oh yeah, definitely, right? Good fit. But I don't have time right now this second to send this personalized message. So great, don't worry about it then. But what you do need to do is just, hey, save in Sales Navigator, click, okay, and then send a message that says, hey Brian, good to be connected. That'll make sure that he doesn't get the automation message that would have been coming. Okay, but I'm saying you need to block out time. Don't forget that over here in Sales Navigator, in your leads, it's going to put that person right here, saved on LinkedIn. See, this client has said yes to 45 people. That stars them, but none of these people have received a message unless he goes in here and actually sends them the personalized message. What does that mean, right? So all of these people, when he looked at their title and where they were, what company they worked there, they were a yes. Okay. Now you can see here, 3 weeks ago is when these messages were sent. But a personalized message could be a video email or a regular email. I want to show you something. What does that look like? Okay, check this out. So this is Loom. It's a tool you've probably discussed with your coach. My client Jonathan, okay, when he has a person that is a yes, he has done this. He has sent a video email to every one of these people. Every one of them received that because he wanted to personalize it as much as possible, which means he wants to increase his likelihood of actually getting a response from people. So you're going in and you're looking at anything and everything that you could personalize, right? Right here on this LinkedIn marketing document here. Remember right here, if someone's a yes, then your job is to think, all right, what can I build rapport with them on? And there's a list right here, all these possible things that you could include in the video, or if you don't want to record a video email, you can just send a normal email. But the point is to try and find something. I recommend the video email because it gets the highest response rate. So check this out.
G'day Britain, my name's Jonathan Dalton. Thanks for linking with me today on LinkedIn. You're probably wondering why the hell this guy from Australia is linking with me. Well, I just discovered your article, A Beautiful Way to Save Words, and thought it was very, very intriguing as an Australian who works in the logistics space Given it was written in 2013, I thought it was an amazing take on and insight into the future, a way some things unfolded, not so much everything, but a way a lot of things unfolded. And I then sought about Googling you and then found you on LinkedIn and linked with you. So thanks for linking with me. I'm looking to move to the US, and I've been working in the logistics industry for the last 20 years here in Australia, and I'm trying to build some contacts to find the right role in the US. I'm an experienced operational leader with 20 years in the road, rail, and port space.
Okay.
I've managed
So look, this is a 2-minute and 18-minute video total. But he even went out and recorded himself, kind of the static part of him outside showing, logistics, supply chain, transportation, where he's at. It's cool. It really brings out a really nice personalization. And look, we've even gone as far as he even, within Loom, there's a way you can even put an overlay on here and someone could click right here and schedule a Zoom meeting with him just right off of that. Super personalized. So much so that, check this out. Jonathan sends me this. Rhett, just got this from the CEO of Sam's Club. Okay, here's what he sent her. Personalized. That's the most creative connection request I've had through LinkedIn. I forwarded your details to our talent acquisition team. I'm happy to spend 30 minutes talking about the move. My assistant's email is amazing. This video email totally was a game changer. Imagine you're in Australia and you want to move to the US, and the CEO of Sam's Club found it so compelling she was willing to take up half an hour of her time to actually talk to this guy instead of like, oh, this is a waste of time, where it's not. She was willing to do it. It shows you the power of what personalization can really do. When we go back and we talk about you save the person, the hiring manager, to your list. All of these people that you saved, you came in after they accepted. And if they're a yes, then you clicked on Save in Sales Navigator, it put them into that folder, and you send a quick message to the person saying, hey, great to be connected. That's what you would do, because you don't want Brian to get the automatic next message that would be sent. And why would he be sent that? Because he didn't say anything to you, right? The computer system says, send a message. If they accept the invitation, send them this next message. But if they responded after accepting, then it goes, oh, don't send them another message because we don't know what their message said. But vice versa, if you want to send out something personalized to them, you've got to break the chain. So that's why you're going to save them and then go here. So if they accept but don't respond, then you do what we just said. And don't forget to follow up. So if he had responded to that woman at Sam's Club, and so then he would go on his calendar and be like, 4 days later, follow up with Catherine at Sam's Club, until that's a booked appointment, or right, for some reason it's not going to happen. Okay. If you go look at that person and they're a no, then just leave it. They accepted, they didn't respond, let it go. The automation will go ahead and send them the message. Okay? If the contact accepts the invitation and they do respond, which is usually they accept and then they say hello or hi Dave or something super simple like that. So when they do respond, remember that breaks the chain. So now it falls on you. You go look at the person's profile, and if you see that they're a yes, then no worries. All you have to do is just hit Save in Sales Navigator. That's all. You don't need to send them a message to break it because they just broke it themselves. Does that make sense? If they accept and they respond, then and they're a yes, save them so that you can send them a video email. If they're a no, then go ahead and respond with this script right here. Which is basically the automatic message that would have been sent to them if they hadn't have responded. That's for hiring managers. Basically the same with human resource people. Okay, now the process for when a new recruiter, it's very, very similar. A new recruiter campaign, if the client accepts the invitation and doesn't respond, you don't have to do anything because the next message is automatically going to be sent. And then if they don't respond after that one, don't worry. Just let the third message, just let the automation run its course. If a recruiter accepts the invitation and they do respond, then you have to send an appropriate response to satisfy whatever they said, which is basically, the second message that would have been sent if they didn't break the chain, but just a little bit of a something at the beginning that's like, oh, nice to be connected with you, Susan, and then boom, the script that would have normally been sent. Does that make sense? This is what the process is that you have to manage for yourself. This is on the Client LinkedIn messaging process document. Hopefully this clarifies it. I'm gonna put together an actual flowchart that shows a little bit more of that. But here's what you need to do with all of the different campaigns. Here is the document that's your audit that makes sure you're doing all of the small little steps. Right? That was a high level view. Now you can look at this and say, okay, here's exactly, specifically what I need to be doing to make sure that I'm doing everything in that video. In summary, to underscore, you taking care of all the brand fans process from start to finish, and you sending out the messages to your knowns. These two sections will give you the greatest return on investment if you'll spend the time doing it. Do not allow all the activity that comes from everything we're doing to let you kind of rest on your laurels and just let it all happen, because you're going to be overwhelmed in a good way because there's so much great stuff happening through what we're doing. But your focus has got to be here. Until all of your knowns has received their personalized message from you, you got to keep going until you get through that list, until you've told us about which brand fans to pull and gone in and curated their lists, and then let us send you the list, and then you send it. Everything I've just talked about, you have to stick through all this. I know it's a lot, but you can do it, and it's totally worth it. But just get super organized. Remember the document that we had at the beginning of the program. Processes, not goals. Your goal is to get a job. As he says, following a process, setting up the right process and just executing on it, you'll get the goal without even thinking about it if you'll just commit to the process. That's what this is all about, okay? You got this. We know it's a lot, but you can manage it if you'll get yourself organized in the way that I've just showed you. Thank you very much.